Riverside, but a great opponent. And let's get the show started off with Coach and Ubaldo.
Well, first of all, Coach. I mean, they scored. I know very quickly on that first possession, and that's not really typical of Riverside so far this year. They're kind of a clickety clank type of team when they first get started, and they save it for that second half. And boy, did they save it for that second half. But yeah, they scored on their first possession. I don't even think was that a run back, as I recall.
Was it what?
Was that a kickoff, a long kickoff return that set up the first score for Riverside?
Yeah, we were working on a couple different kicks because we knew they had outstanding return men, and the kick we used, it was effective, but right now we need to get the ball either kicked farther or kicked higher, one of those two, but not flatter. And so we're working hard at developing that. We've got some good guys who work really hard, but we need probably a year full of weight training to get a little bit bigger and strong depth. So get there and cover, and we got to have better leverage. We changed personnel wise 2 weeks ago. We went with a different group, more of the defensive starters out there, and they did an improved job. We got to get better at it. It's critical. It's the first play of defense, and you got to stop them as far back as you possibly can.
Yeah, I mean, like it's the same repetitive record when you play Riverside this year. For some reason, it was funny. I had a conversation with Chapman. I was on the sideline with him, and I was teasing him because I said, "Hey, keep your eyes on the game, but thanks for the footage that you have put up that gave me 3,700 views. That touched me. That somebody's watching my video. 3,700 people watched my video of Keenan Chapman, and the reason we were getting into that is I said, Riverside starts off pretty slow, so you guys got to have that stamina and really have a good game plan for that second half because they seem to come out fired up and with more adrenaline, and that's exactly what happened. And I mentioned, I said, because this same thing happened at Grossmont, and of course, good answer. He said, "We're not Grossmont," but I expected an answer like that, but I was just kind of preparing him. I said, from what I saw, you guys better be ready to roll. And then there's some good volleys towards the end too. Those were some good laughs, right, Coach? They went and for a field goal, and it happened to bounce off the goalpost, and then we went down to the other end. And I know it's not really that funny when it's us, but at the same time, it was kind of comedic. Everybody was all smiles. That one that was kicked right before the half, and sure enough, they kicked theirs and right into the center of the pole and bounced off. So at least we were having a little fun with it.
Players, I'm breaking up here a little bit with you guys.
Yeah, of course, I'm willing to stick with you. I wanted to. Yeah, I kind of want to stick with you a little bit there. Maybe I could just touch on the game a little bit as well. See if Coach can get his reconnection. We'll talk to Ubaldo also on that. I want to know, Ubaldo, when it comes to Riverside, you knew you were in for a big test. I'm sure it's one you were looking forward to and knew it was going to be tough. We've had some success this season. We've had some rough games. We've had some great moments, like that Fullerton game. But how did you feel going up against Riverside? They're big guys.
Well, I mean, we knew we had our work cut out for us. We had a great week of practice. We started off really strong. We went into halftime with momentum. but we couldn't hold up in the second half.
Yeah, 12-7. That I kind of followed the game plan. I'm going to ask you, Coach. Maybe you're back with me. Maybe we can hear you, and I can hear you as well. But boy, I don't think you could have dialed it up any better going into that halftime lead. You said it yourself. I mean, you kind of wanted to kind of grind it out, keep it close, make sure you're within a striking range, make it a slower paced game, and keep them out of sync a little bit. Had them where you want them, but like I said, eventually, they've got some depth.
Yeah, they got those 1, 2. They got those 1, 2, and 3 guys. I mean, that much, Ubaldo, is if the first man goes down, they got second stringers that are just as talented. I mean, you could probably put together 2 good teams on both sides of the ball, and that after playing them a couple of times, they're a tough squad. They got so much talent. They have a lot to draw from in their area as far as recruiting. And I mean, they are a well-oiled machine, but they just look so beatable in those first halves. Like I said, against Gross, it was like a duplicate of what I was seeing, except for you guys were in the lead. But Grossmont was competing, and for them to compete against a quality squad like that was impressive too. I mean, they already had, I believe, it was 2 turnovers in the first quarter against Riverside, and I say that's really doing something as well from a quality squad like that. But I mean, maybe you can tell us how the game went, and tell us why the tale of 2 halves. What's the secret in that? I mean, what's going on, and how do they just grab us by the throat after we've kind of pinned them down for so long?
Oh, I mean, you're right. They definitely have some depth. I mean, I think it was like in the third quarter, their left tackle's helmet came off, and then
it seems to be fading out, Coach. For some reason, maybe if you turn it off and then turn it back on, maybe while we're talking.
I'll bump them out and bring them back in. See if that occurs. Go ahead, Ubaldo.
Ubaldo, you were saying?
Yeah, finish your thought there. Did we get a little winded there in the second half? We were on the field quite a bit, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely hurt on the D line, so we were. I think I had like a lot of plays, so we were definitely winded. I mean, I think we just got too confident. We went in at halftime thinking we had the game, and I mean, we really didn't. It's a 4-quarter game, so we just didn't finish strong.
And Ubaldo, I don't know if you heard the loud quote that came from Josh's mouth as you guys were heading into the locker room. He screamed it pretty much, so I'm sure everybody heard it. He said, "I really want this one. I want this one bad." Do you recall that? And he was, and I mean, I'm sorry, but he's got to be a hurt camper. I don't care how tough you are, but he said, "I'm Texas tough, man." But at the same time, broken ribs, that just hurts, and it hurts a lot. And it doesn't matter how much padding you put in there, but it does say a lot about his character that he's a true trooper, and he wants to win a championship.
Yeah, I think he came from Riverside, so I'm pretty sure he wanted it bad.
Yeah, he screamed it. He wanted everybody to know he wanted to beat Riverside.
Yeah, I think we all did, but we just need to finish strong. I feel like we start strong, but we have trouble finishing games. So I just feel like we just need to pick that up, and we'll be good. Hopefully, get a bowl game.
Well, Ubaldo, we gotta be very careful. I mean, the best thing we can do to help ourselves and control our own destiny is we have to win out.
Yes, sir.
In reality, and it's not exactly the easiest road. Golden West, I don't think that's going to be too tough of a game. I don't think I think they were a little better possibly last year. I think if you guys are firing on all cylinders, you have a good game plan, I'm sure. Ed's probably got some there's at least one Rambo in there, I know for sure, for them. And We always love that play, especially if you got Speedy involved in it, obviously.
Yeah.
And then the hard hitters. But anyway, we have a chance. I mean, we have a chance to really blow this one wide open, and then we have a chance to win out.
Yes, sir.
I mean, you've gone through most of the toughest part of your schedule, so it's definitely possible to get that bowl.
Yes, sir. We watched film on Golden West all week. They're a great team, so we have to come out and just win all 4 quarters, and we'll be successful.
What is it a biggest key though? Is it going to be to stop the run? Are they more run heavy? Or they got a good balance? Do they have? Is it the quarterback's got a strong laser arm and great vision? I mean, who do we really need to hone in on?
I mean, they're just good overall. Their 2 running backs are solid. I mean, we watched the film on them. Number one, the quarterback, he hasn't played recently, but he's very mobile. And the backup quarterback has a great arm. So we're just going to have to click on all cylinders and just win.
You got to be ready for both of them. A
Yes,
lot of
sir.
teams are doing that these days. They're using 2 quarterbacks, and right here at Southwestern College, we've swapped them out a couple of times too. Maybe not that often, but we've done the same thing when we need to find out sometimes just to give playing time. And you know, we did that with Brad the couple of weeks ago, and he was a little sputtery. But you know what? I think all in all, he got better as the game progressed. He started getting his reads better. His timing was on. I think with you got to say with Brad Jeremiah, I mean he's got a history career and did great in high school, but we all know it changes at the college level. But you got to admit, Brad should be coming along. If he had a few more games under his belt, I think that next year in particular he'll be solid.
Yeah, definitely. Brad's a great player. I played against him in high school in an All-Star game, so I definitely got a couple hits on him. But he's a great player. They work hard all week at practice. It's just you got to wait for his shot and just shine.
See if we can bring Coach. See if we can bring Coach Carberry. Coach, say something to me. Let me see if I can hear you.
Did you hear us, Coach?
Well, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's try to talk about this a little bit. If you want to start on the Golden West game, we can. But I kind of wanted to go back and give us our stars of the game from the game this past week against Riverside. You mentioned Atoa Fox. He had another big game on defense, 9 solo tackles, including a sack and 5 tackles for loss. And also, you wanted to mention probably Davion Johnson, the freshman from Cleveland, 10 receptions, 159 yards. Probably his most productive game of the season, Coach. Yeah.
So what'd you think of that, Ubaldo?
Yeah.
I mean, the way he was slipping and sliding like that, and I mean, he was like a slithery snake. They could not get their hold on. They could not get a hold of him. And were you surprised and impressed that the way he was able to get in through those defenders? And then he had 2 or 3 defenders grabbing onto him, and it's like he had something slippery on his jersey. They could not keep track of him, and then to go into the end zone and make that beautiful catch right on the pylon and to roll out. It was a thing of beauty.
Yeah. I mean, his nickname is Speedy, so I think that
it fits.
It fits with him. He's a great player. I think he bounced back from Ohio State, so he's definitely someone you want to have on offense and just make big plays and give defense some rest. Is definitely a good feeling.
Ubaldo, were you guys having trouble?
You want to have him as a kick returner too. I think you want to have him as a kick returner too. I mean, more often. Yeah, he's just so damn slithery and just the speed on that guy. I forgot what it was, but I think somebody said a 4.3. I'm not for sure, but they said that he really is probably he is the fastest guy on the team.
No, I believe it. I believe that 4.3. He's definitely really fast.
Yeah, if he's not the fastest, then I wonder what the other guy's nickname is. If this guy's speedy. What's the other guy? Well, they got 7 sacks this season for the Jaguars, but their freshman quarterback kind of was a little bit elusive. What did you find difficult in the game against Riverside, against their freshman quarterback, Barlage?
He was definitely elusive. I think a big part to his game is their O-line. Their O-line is really solid. They have depth at their O-line, too. I think one time their left tackle had to leave the game for his helmet, and they had this, I think he's 6'7", 400 pounds. It's like
That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, they have depth. So, I mean, their O-line really helps their offense. So, I think that's a big key and success to their offense.
Dave, why don't you...
Go ahead, Dave. You don't have the with such a team with so much talent. I mean, down to the third string. I mean, you can keep so many guys so fresh. I mean, obviously in the skill positions, you don't want to have them in the game too long, especially if they're getting hurt or there's a chance. I mean, we want to keep all of our skill players in particular healthy before we hit the playoffs. Or hit the bowl game. So that's huge. What I did was surprised though. If this is correct, we didn't have any picks at all. No picks. That's not traditional for a Southwestern College football game, and no fumbles either.
Yeah, we didn't have none of this game. I mean, we got in on Monday and had to. You think you played well, but you watch film on Monday and there's always room for improvement. So we just have to pick it up and hopefully get some and make up for last week.
Dave, why don't you ask Coach Ed something? He might be having trouble hearing me.
Now we can't hear him. Holy cow. I think me and you are the only ones that can communicate, Ubaldo.
Yes, sir.
I can't hear you, Ramon.
Oh, you cannot hear me. Oh, man.
I can't hear you, no.
Okay. It's me. Okay, keep talking then, Dave.
We can read lips, maybe? I don't know.
I can hear him.
Ubaldo can't hear me. Okay.
No, I can't.
Sorry for the technical difficulties today. We've had so many decent shows here, and I'm kind of killing us here, I think. But Ubaldo, this week you mentioned
it. Can you still hear him and me?
Huh? I'm just going to keep going, Dave. If Ubaldo can hear me and Ed can't, I'm just going to keep on going maybe with Ubaldo and talk about this week's game with Golden West. Ubaldo, Dave mentioned that you think that, with these last 2 games, he said, I think we can get them. I think Coach Ed probably expects us to get these last 2 games and get to that bowl game.
Yes, sir. It's a tradition at Southwestern that you get past the regular season. So we definitely want to just win all 4 quarters and take it one game at a time and just study Golden West. Yeah. I think we have tomorrow, so watch film all tomorrow and just really key in on their offense and get a win.
And you've been so big this year with your 7 sacks. So what's allowed you to get free? Who's helping you out on that defensive line? Who are your pals up front that have allowed you to get loose a little bit?
You can translate if you...
Go ahead, Ubaldo. You can hear me.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think sacks are team sacks. So we definitely have a front 4 that is aggressive. Alex Tails, the other end. Andrew Sasha and Brian Williams. So they definitely helped me out a lot, pushing the pocket. But, I mean, a lot of credit goes to the DBs as well. Just coverage sacks help a lot as well.
Yeah, I mean, the frustration had to come in, especially after leading that game and them getting those 3 touchdowns. And kind of, like I said, with you guys just having to be on the field for so long against Riverside, that had to take some of the wind out of the sails. So is that something we can turn around? Go ahead, Dave.
We're getting away from the penalties. We only had 6. That's pretty good for a Southwestern team.
Yes, sir. I think our first week we jumped off sides like a million times against Mesa. So after that, we just been when we run our gashes or everything's on like coach's foot. So they'll try to trick us. So I think that's been helping us a lot as well.
Well, the coach would tell me every time we discuss penalties. He says, I think it's when he has more than six or so in a game. He said, "Yeah, unfortunately, we're the Raiders of community college football when it comes to the penalty situation."
Yes, sir.
I mean, but really, you guys have been very disciplined and watching the ball in particular, because that's the biggest one is when they're trying to bark you off sides, and just watching that ball, and that's really hard to do because some of these kids are pretty smart, and sometimes I think they get away with some flinches,
Yeah.
and but then some of the cadences, it's real confusing too on
Hmm.
how to time it just right and get in there and rush off that edge.
Yes, sir. I mean, our DC coach Myers, he has this famous quote. He says, "The quarterback's a liar." So we don't listen. So we don't listen to the quarterback. I mean, after the first game, I feel like teams thought that was our weakness. So after that, everyone's been trying to hard count, but it hasn't been working. So I think we're doing a good job.
Well, I mean, you might as well just be consider yourself deaf when it
Yes, sir.
comes to what he's calling over there, because just like Peyton Manning used to do. I mean, all his Omahas and everything, it's all nonsense.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of nonsense, taking up time, taking up just a little show, and they know exactly what they want to do. They've already thrown that out at the beginning of after they broke the huddle. Um, do you think that, and I wish I could ask Coach this, maybe Ramon can. Do you guys ever think on offense like doing it, possibly running against an opponent like Saddleback, running a no huddle offense might work more effectively?
It's definitely a struggle to play again. So I definitely think it would help, especially like let's say they get a long completion, and the next thing you know, they're already snapping the ball. So it's definitely hard to play against.
I mean, and this Golden West team, they've been up and down, but any of these teams from Orange County or LA County, let's just face it, you're not playing in the conference that you're playing in, that they were playing in, 4 or 5 years ago. This one that you're playing in, which is fortunate for you, also with all the colleges looking at that, they don't care about the scoreboard. They don't care if you're getting beat 50-0. They're looking at how you as an individual are playing and looking to recruit the talent based on your talent, or based on one of your fellow linemen. They don't care about the score whatsoever. But you definitely you don't want to be committing any of those penalties, and you want to play a flawless game. And these are the kind of games you would think that that's when you're going to have a couple of those scouts out, and then towards the end of the season, of course, too.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead,
And,
Ubaldo.
and anybody in particular that that you're talking to, or can you say, or any
Oh,
letters of intent?
right now I currently hold a Division II offer from Southwest Minnesota State. I picked that up like 2 weeks ago. So I mean, a couple of schools are interested. So you just got to play the patient game and just hope for the best and pray for the best.
You want to go ice fishing then?
Yes, sir.
Hey,
You'll go.
I've never done it. I have family in Wisconsin. I don't know if Coach has. I don't know if Ramon has. I like the cold, so a place like Minnesota, boy, I'd take that thing in a second. Give me 20 below with the wind chill, also, and an Arctic Clipper coming down. Boy, I love those things. I'm about tired of this heat out here, so
Yeah, this heat is
uh,
horrible.
it gets real,
Well, okay,
and
Ubaldo.
and the
You can.
expensive just to cover costs down here. At any rate, um, the film that you did see, you kind of touched on it briefly. What are the main keys though for that you saw on film to stop this Golden West team dead in their tracks?
Oh, they're all receivers are really good as well. We get a huge scouting report every week, and then they said solid for all of the receivers. So I mean, the receiving core is nice. We definitely, I mean, we got to stop the run and is open up some opportunities for some sacks. So hopefully we get a couple of those and just win.
Yeah. And Ubaldo, I know.
Just put the pedal to the metal, and you got to go in with a clear mind. The Riverside game is in the rearview mirror. It no longer exists, and you're the best way to go in. Coach Watkins from Mesa, and I wonder if he takes this out of a page of Coach Carberry's book. He says we're 1-0 every week, and every week's a playoff game.
Yes, sir.
Did that maybe come from you, Coach? Is that a possibility?
See if we can get Coach Cranberry back in here.
I don't think he can hear me.
Yeah, we've checked out with him.
Has he ever mentioned something like that?
Yeah, he has. I mean, after every game, so when we lost to Riverside, he gave us, a pep talk, and then he just said, on to Golden West. So that was our break. So we left the Riverside
Bill
game.
Belichick.
Yeah.
Ubaldo, you can hear me, but Dave can't. He thinks we can't talk to each other, but I want you to tell me, you were talking about the heat a little bit, and I can't notice, but at the end of the graphic there, it says 1 p.m. First day game of the season. Are there any changes in your guys' approach this week, playing a day game on the road?
Yeah, we actually practiced at 1 p.m. this week. So we had an early practice on Tuesday, and then we usually have a night practice on Wednesdays. So we had an earlier practice too to just get used to the heat and just it won't be an excuse.
Yeah, or at least the coaches can say, hey, no excuse, because we practiced in the daytime. Coach Ed, going to give you one more try, then we might want to get out of here, and we'll make a better show next week, I promise.
You're running the show, Ubaldo. We don't know when we're supposed to end, so just keep us informed.
Don't worry, Ubaldo. You can hear me, and Dave can't. You've done a great show, Ubaldo. You have kind of saved the show here, brother.
Yes,
so thank you. Thank you so much, Ubaldo. Coach Ed, thank you. We're going to let you go. We'll fix it up. We'll try to coordinate next week. And, Dave, you can't hear me, but you've done a great job, and I got to just wrap this up. I've killed us here, but Ubaldo, thank you so much. Ubaldo Torres, defensive lineman for the Southwestern Jaguars, the former Chula Vista Spartan, making his mark right now at Southwestern, probably headed to a bowl game on that Saturday. So, all right, Coach Ed, Ubaldo, Dave, nice job. Dave, see you later. Stay on the line. Maybe we'll get talking. Ed, thank you guys. Is he shutting the show down? Yeah, I'm going to shut it down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot, you guys. Sorry about that.
You.
Hey, thanks everybody for joining us.
All right, thanks a lot, Ubaldo. We'll see. You got one more game.